Welcome back to Super Tuesday Recap. It is Kriss and Dpalm here, and we are here to talk about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 4, Episode 3, Uprising, which is kind of weird because we did a whole S.H.I.E.L.D. Uprising thing last year. I thought that name was kind of weird to name an episode that. Anyway, Coulson, Mack, and Fitz try to locate and neutralize a rogue group looking to stop inhuman registration worldwide. Simmons and Dr. Radcliffe have only a short time to save May before she succumbs to her illness. And they don't even mention Robbie and the Robbie and Daisy team up. Okay, fine, we're not gonna do that. All right, fine. I'm just gonna get this out of the way now. Technically, May died.
When are you gonna bring this shit up? You're right though.
She did die, but she came back. So I feel like it's only like half of a blame Kriss.
Whatever, dude. You saw I hit you with the delete your account. Like, come on, man.
Hey, listen, man. Does this count as me calling it? I mean, she did die, technically.
I love how she came back and was just immediately pissed off.
Oh, I love that. Came back as grumpy, as cranky, grumpy May. Get this off me.
Where am I?
Look, he looked at this. She looked at Simmons like, "Why are you hugging me? Why are you making contact? What is this? What is going? What did I miss?"
You're bypassing a lot of protocols here, Simmons.
Right. Oh man, you know the only thing that made it better if Simmons responded back, "That's classified."
Yo, that may have gotten Simmons shot.
Well, that's why you keep the handcuffs. That's why you keep her cuffed to the bed for now, yo. Oh man. So, where do you want to start with this, man? Do you want to start with the fact that S.H.I.E.L.D. does X-Men better than things better than the X-Men movies? Because
can we just talk about how impressed I am with what this show is able to do? So, like, a blackout episode is a trope. Just like last season, the locked room episode was a trope. This show does tropes so well. Because they layer them. Because they know, you know, you know what? They've done a blackout episode.
Yeah.
But this time they added 2 ticking clocks.
Mm-hmm.
The 2 literal ones. One with May, and the larger one with the president moving in on these places.
Right.
It's brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what to say. Like, from like, I know we're talking about all the things that happened in the episode, but from like a step back, like screenwriting perspective, it's a masterclass.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, they do a really good job, like you say, of taking these tropes and doing them in ways that still make them seem fresh and enjoyable, almost to the point where you kind of forget they're tropes.
Right.
Like I first thing I saw after, you know, and I wasn't trying to read. I don't try to read reviews of these things. I really don't. But when I go to search for like the images used for the shows, they'll come up. And I saw people talking about it's a trope, but they were saying the same thing you're saying, which is it's a trope, but it was done so well. And I'm like, shit, if you guys didn't mention that it was a trope, I never would have actually thought about it that way, because you're spending so much time just cheering and being excited and being into this. I mean, there's so much going on here, and the way they've done this is, like you said, it's truly masterful.
They make you get invested whether you want them to or not.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Just really impressive and really well done.
Absolutely.
And I really appreciate the effort of the cast and crew and the writing staff that they clearly have put in.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And, again, they like the X-Men more than whoever does the X-Men movie.
Oh, they love the X-Men. This is a bunch of Claremont nerds.
Mm-hmm. Because the way they're, like, what they did with Elena and her friends and them basically find out that she's an Inhuman,
Yeah.
that's your X-Men.
All I need next episode is Daisy in a winter parka with some gloves, turning her left, pointing at the camera and saying that Phil Coulson is a jerk. Like, this is Claremont X-Men.
Yeah.
And they're letting him do it.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly, at this point, you know, other than that, you know what we're also missing? We're missing our racial slur for that means inhuman.
No, we're gonna get that. I guarantee. Inhuman's pretty good. What we're really missing is one to describe humans. Because every time Magneto called a human a flat scan, I cheered a little bit in my head.
Yeah, you're true. You're right. You're right. You're right. We do need that flat scan. I wonder if they could do that.
They could call them flat scans?
I wonder if they could.
Oh, I'd love it. I would love it.
I mean, is there? What are the rights? Like, I need. Hey, listen, I know somebody at Marvel.
Slur rights.
I need. What I need. I wish I could ask. Oh, now, man, I just saw Jeff Loeb. I wish I could ask. I was like, what are the rights on using the slurs?
What a humble brag. I'm sorry, you need a bucket for the name you just dropped? Do you need a bucket? Oh, wow. Wow. Just all subtle and shit just...
What? I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm just going to say this shit and see how it flies. All right.
It was a heat check. It was a heat check. It was just...
Ooh. Right,
I was checking to make sure the mics were working and you were listening. That's all I was doing. Yeah.
The mics are hot. Wow.
It's my Billy Bush moment, yo.
Wow, man. I'm glad everyone else heard it. I'm glad this is recording. Y'all see what the fuck I deal with, like, when it's... Oh, goodness. Go ahead. You and your friend Jeff were saying.
Yeah, my buddy. I was should have asked him what the slurs are. Do you have rights to call people flat scans?
What is the slur law?
What the slur law? We'll get the Marvel lawyers right on that one.
Yeah, hold on. It's a great question, Kriss. Right. Glad you asked. Do you want a job?
Right. Hey.
And then Kriss woke up.
Yeah, right. And then Barry changed the timeline.
Donald Trump's assistant.
No! This is how I become the reverse Flash and beat Barry. It's like, Barry, I had everything. I had my life. Now I have Donald Trump.
Oh, man.
And Marvel can't use the term flat scans on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Anyway.
No, they can. Like, they need a slur for humans.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. They do. Because even though, and I love the idea, like, again, you can see through it that it wasn't Inhumans by the attack. Like, you as an audience member even knew that. At no point did you.
But the way it was presented, it was really convincing in universe.
Yes, in universe, it makes sense. And when you see, like Coulson said, like, the Watchdogs had never been this well organized. They'd never been this well armed. They had never gone global like that. This has gone global. So now you're like, okay, what's going on here? On top of that, you also now have this other thing going on with the registration where, hey, you're forcing Inhumans to register, and that list is now compromised. And right. not only is it compromised, it's continuously compromised. Because as Coulson said, hey, this gets updated anytime an Inhuman on the list moves. So how do they know that Elena was back in Miami? That means they're getting updates. They're getting real-time updates.
Right.
That's a fucking problem. This is exactly why Daisy didn't like the registration. This is exactly why, there are questions about Inhumans registering. Like, dude, this is your worst nightmare.
Very worst.
And I think that throwing that in there, it's going to add, like, and we talk about layers with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. This is what they always do, right? There's always 3 or 4 different plot lines going on that start off the season that are going in different directions. Right now, you have the whole thing with Daisy and Robbie dealing with trying to figure out what's going on with, what was it? It wasn't Mercury. What was the name? Momentum. Momentum. And even what's going on with Robbie himself. You have S.H.I.E.L.D. trying to come back to light. You have the Watchdogs and the Inhuman registration. You have all this stuff going on there, and we know at some point they'll all converge.
Right.
Because they always
probably as messily as possible. Probably as messily as possible.
Right. And we mean that in a good way.
Yeah.
But that's how this show always starts off. It always starts off with seeming to have, and one of these things is going to seemingly be resolved early. Oh, and the other thing we got going on is we got Radcliffe with Ada.
Yeah.
We have that. I mean, we have all these things going on, and some of them will, I'll even say it, some of them will even be fake. Like, they'll get resolved early. There'll be red herrings. They'll get resolved early. Then they might come back later on, or they
like
were bigger than we
Mace,
thought.
Inhuman, not buying it. Sorry.
If you're revealing Shield is coming back, why didn't he reveal himself as also being Inhuman and
further engender the trust? Nope, not buying it. Sorry.
Why you would think that he would do that, right?
Unless he's not an Inhuman. Unless Coulson's in a program. You know what? I'm done.
Unless Coulson programmed him to.
He sure has asked Coulson a lot of questions, hasn't he?
As May said, that should be you out there. Nope, I'm right where I need to be. Which is where? Back in the shadows, where Coulson as chief spy works best.
Look, prove us wrong.
Just saying. Just saying. Somebody's an LMD.
Very much so.
So. Also, I was gonna say Coulson could be, but then I was like, "What? No, his hand's not working." Listen, I need Fitz to get on that. You can't have an EMP taking out Coulson's hand like that easily. Although that was
didn't
a nice
take out Ada's power source.
It did not. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
There is that.
I was like, that sure worked awfully conveniently.
Let's see what we got here. Where do you want to go to first? We have the Ada thing with Radcliffe. We have Ghost Rider. Then we have going. Well, I'll get back to the action. I'll save the action for later. Which one do you want to do?
Okay. Let's talk about Ghost Rider.
All right. So what we've gotten so far, Uncle Eli is alive.
Is he?
I believe he said that, right? He said he's in.
He said we're going to go see him.
Oh, you're right. Didn't think about it that way. Was supposedly wrongfully convicted.
I'm just saying, hypothetically, you can go see people at grave sites.
True. You're right. Could have died in prison. We know Robbie asked to get vengeance on those who put Gabe in there. Well, here's why I couldn't remember. Did he ask to get vengeance on those who put Gabe in the chair, or did he go out to seek that, thinking that would get rid of the curse?
I think he sought that.
Okay. And then I think that was the whole the bad guy trying to take Gabe's chair. Throwback to the comics.
Yep.
Throwback to the comics. I love the little throwbacks that they
and Daisy uses her powers.
And Daisy uses her powers. And this is how you know Daisy is punishing herself, because Daisy, just put the gauntlets back on. That could probably help you not break your bones.
Because she's doing it on purpose. She thinks she deserves to be in pain.
Exactly. And I don't think she's addicted to painkillers.
Ooh. Probably right.
We've seen her pop pills way too many times.
Yeah, they're driving that home, aren't they?
Because I mean, beginning of the show, the first episode, everybody paid attention to, and rightfully so, paid attention to her little booty and nakedness. She was popping pills. And remember, in that episode, she also put the gauntlets on then.
Mm-hmm.
She's not putting them on now.
She wants the excuse to take the pills?
Maybe. Or maybe she's also punishing herself. Or both. Remember, I think we talked about this. Remember, high was an addiction. What do people do when they go to beat one addiction? Sometimes they go find another addiction.
Replace it with something else.
They replace it with something else. So, could be. Going back to Robbie, I'm still having, and it's funny, like I said, you're going to hate me for dropping another name, but I did talk to Gabriel Luna at New York Comic Con. I was talking to him about just the fact that it really does seem like they're pulling from all three Ghost Riders, which leads me to believe I don't think we're going to see a Johnny or Danny at any point, because it really does feel like they're pulling from all three here. And while, don't get me wrong, I would love to be wrong on this one. I would love to see that, but it really does feel like they're purposely giving us bits and pieces from all three. Because you have the hints of Uncle Eli. You have them talking about Robbie's seeking vengeance for Gabe and being in a wheelchair, and they don't say that. They don't really tell you too much whether he was already a Ghost Rider when that happened, or maybe just like when Danny. Remember when Danny they were in the graveyard, and what's it, the graveyard?
His sister.
And his sister, and he touched the medallion, then he became Ghost Rider, and so that seeking vengeance on people that have hurt his sister. And then you also have the fact that he, him repeatedly saying he sold his soul to the devil, which is Johnny Blaze. So you have them touching all three of those origins, and I think they're just kind of wrapping them all up into one. Don't get me wrong, I would love to at some point see Johnny Blaze. I'd love to at some point see Danny Ketch, but I have a feeling, at least for Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. itself, I feel like we're gonna get a combination of all three.
Which I'm okay with.
I'm okay with. I think they're doing a great job of doing that, and it's nice. It gives you, you need to do that if you're going to do Robbie, because, again, the new issues of Ghost Rider come out in November, but we only have 12 issues. So if you're going to drive home and really have people feel connected to this Ghost Rider, you need to meld his story with all three. You can't just, and I think this is a good model for them going forward. If they ever decide to bring some of the characters that they have, we have champions, you have all this, if you're going to bring some of these characters that might be new and might not have, a lot of issues or decades of material, this is the way you do it. You take bits and pieces from other people, from other characters' backgrounds, meld them into one, and you have your character there, so you get you can please everybody. And I like what they're doing. It works for me.
Yeah, no, me too. I think I hadn't really noticed the melding until you pointed out just now, but I think it's a really good thing to do, and it's a really smart thing to do with Robbie because he is so much of a blank slate. Mm-hmm. We've got that one run, really, and he hasn't really appeared anywhere else.
Exactly.
So I think it's really, I think you've touched on something really that they've intentionally done and they pulled off well.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. What we got here? I think Radcliffe might actually be a good guy now.
Yeah. Trust the guy who made a creepy, recreation of a human being. Yeah, that's a good decision. It's never gone wrong in the history of science fiction.
I am not saying that this
you're right.
Badly.
Frankenstein's monster isn't a trope for a reason. You're right. This is probably going to end really well.
I'm not saying that this won't end badly. I'm just saying that his intentions are good.
Oh, the road to hell paved with good intentions. Weird. Okay, Another trope.
I'm not saying this won't end badly. I'm just saying he might be a good guy. Good guys can do bad things, or and bad things could, and unintentionally, and they could go really, really bad. Not saying that. I'm just saying that, he's not trying to usher in an entire new race of genetically altered human beings.
Which is good, I guess. But they also touched on that in the first episode when he said when they use Ultron as kind of like that cautionary tale.
Right. So
that, it was really, I think you're right about that. That was really smart of them. So
right. No, I mean, and it'll be interesting seeing. I mean, there's a lot of little things going on here with him. Mm-hmm. Teaching. I'm glad he at least put clothes on Ada this time. But teaching Ada about different words, like, hey, don't just forget that. Don't.
Yeah, it's not worth you learning that.
All right, don't learn that one. And then also our power source.
That was creepy as hell, by the way.
Which was not affected by the EMP.
Nope.
And I have to wonder, I know everybody's happy that May's back, but are May and Jim are going to ask, where the fuck did you get that power source from?
Don't just be thankful. That's the only reply she needs, man. They saved your life. You're welcome.
Sorry. Got to go right back to the Ghost Rider stuff real quick. I love the fact that, Gabe was grilling the fuck out of Daisy and basically said, Robbie needs good people around him, and that's not you.
Get gone, man. She was real. I mean, he was really, really very straightforward, very accurate, and it plays into Daisy's already existing guilt about being a bad person.
Not only does it do that, but then going back to the comics, they flip this relationship a little bit. Where in the comics, Gabe is really heavily dependent on Robbie. Here, you have Gabe basically being like, Robbie couldn't take care of himself without me. Like, even though I'm in the wheelchair, and again, I like the change here. Like, I love the relationship they have in the comics. I'm not going to say anything bad about that. Cause I think that was a great relationship, and they even give Gabe more agency in the second half of those books. Why I like doing this on TV, right? The way they're doing it is, I think people would be a little bit weird if the Gabe from the comics was the one that was on TV. I think there would be a lot of. I just don't know if people are prepared for that. I think they would get the wrong idea. Just because. Yeah. So I think what they've done is they've given him more, and I understand it. Like, you don't want to always make a person with a disability seem like they're weak. So
you don't want to make them the victim. You want to make them, because it's really, you're right, because it's ableist.
Exactly. And so what they've done
by giving him that agency, you've kind of, you know what? I 100% agree with you on that.
Absolutely. And so I like the change they made with Gabe here, even though it is drastically different than the one that's in the book. I think that this has been great. And you make it so that he's the one that goes, oh no, I'm the one that makes sure that Robbie doesn't go too far into the darkness. I'm the one that makes sure that he's okay, and I like that, and I like that, and I like the fact that you basically have, instead of having the big brother taking care of the looking out, making sure the little brother isn't hanging around with the wrong people. You have the little brother who's in a wheelchair going, no, I think you're bad people, so I need you to leave my brother alone.
It's not wrong,
right? So, love that. Think that was great. And we already mentioned this, but yeah, Daisy's armor's really fucked up. So
yeah,
you watch it again, you pay attention, you actually hear her arm break. Like Robbie said, they put the sound there. He didn't just make that up. You hear her arm break. It's bad. It is. One thing I want to talk about this episode, because it leads to when Daisy's arm broke and some other stuff. The action in this episode was actually pretty fucking great. Like, the fight scenes, I love them.
I don't know what they're doing. It felt like when the SHIELD team came in and took down. First of all, I loved Coulson using his hands like a cudgel. That was awesome. I just really I think that it was very grounded. Mm-hmm. The fight they showed us, and that's something this shows at its best when it's moving 1,000 miles an hour and hitting you with rapid fire scenes. And so the two different clocks help with the feel of the speed of it, but the ferocity with which the action happened. And I think it's also better when the action goes away from powers.
Right. I mean, that's what they did.
Like, it's never going to not be impressive watching Ghost Rider and watching him do shit. Mm-hmm. But I think it was something a lot to tell me if I'm wrong, but I really enjoyed seeing just the team doing their thing.
I mean, you had them all working. I mean, even Fitz got into it a little bit. He stabbed the dude in the hand.
You forget that Fitz, after Jimmy left, became 00 Fitz.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. So, I mean, it was great. They came in like the cavalry, and wrecked shop, like all of them, man. It was fucking great, man. I love seeing that. And then even at the end where they had they used Yo-Yo and her power. They actually did use her powers, and they had her going and grabbing all the guns, and like it was just, come on, man.
Why? Really well done.
Why did Yo-Yo do better speed effects than?
Hey. Singer's trying. He's just not very good at what he does.
God, I'm just saying.
I still haven't seen the new one. People are like, why aren't you seeing it? How dare you say something bad about it without
those
saying
it? Those are not your friends. Those are not people.
I know. I'm like, if you liked it, you don't know me very well.
Yeah, those are people who do not like and do not care for your well-being, sir. And I'm saying this is a person who antagonizes you all the time.
Who openly trolls me.
I openly troll you. So if I'm telling you this, I am telling you I'm pulling the game here. Those are not good people in your life. You need to leave Dpalm alone. All right?
And I love how cool Gabe played it. When she was gone, I woke up, she was out. Like, it made me think, it added a basis for him saying it took care of his brother.
Yeah,
Maybe he does take care of him because his brother's an idiot.
Right. He really,
that was a stupid lie.
Right. He was like, oh man, Daisy? I don't, who? Like, what? The chick you came over with? Man, I ain't seen no girl. He basically.
Huh? You got flowers? Daisy.
Right.
Like, he felt like Black Bush, like Chappelle show Black Bush.
Right.
Oil.
What you talking about? Oil?
Oil.
Man, what? Oh man, yeah. But no, I love how they did that. Like it was all, like just seeing the teamwork again. Teamwork, amazing, right? Seeing the team work together. Seeing, I even love the fact that they had to go. Like, Fitz had to go old school, and they had to go pen and paper and build, and Boy Scout to build compasses and go that way. Like I just, it goes back to the fact that, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. is a spy show. It has powers, there are things there, but in the day, it's really a team full of scientists and agents.
100%.
And sci-fi, and I fucking love it every week, man. It's great, and yeah, love it. Can't wait for more. And then we end up, and this is the email I got, and I was gonna bring this up, and I think who sent me this email? Hold on. Yeah, Fantasia. That's what it was. Thought it was sent to. I love that S.H.I.E.L.D. came out during National Coming Out Day. Also, please tell me I'm the only one who thought of the God of Fear when they were talking about May being afraid and not knowing how to get rid of it. So, we'll talk about the S.H.I.E.L.D. thing first. Yes, S.H.I.E.L.D. literally comes back out of the shadows on National Coming Out Day.
I hadn't thought of that, but that's great.
Yeah, and I just love the fact that S.H.I.E.L.D. is back. It's been a long time. And they came back with an LMD and wait, I'm sorry.
A couple.
Yeah, so when Radcliffe and Simmons are working on May and looking at her brain, look what's going on, it's fear. It's whatever these two ghosts, if you will, whatever, the touch generates an overwhelming sense of fear. So, I don't know if they'll go the God of Fear route, but
that'd be ambitious, I think. But they could do it,
right? It'd be ambitious, and I mean, if last season was Secret Warriors, God of Fear did play a role in that. So
it's a long way to go, but I'm really happy if they went there.
Yeah, it's a long way to go, but hey, listen,
I'm here for it.
Don't put anything, behind them. It's going to be interesting to see how much, I saw the preview for next week. I don't know how much further we're going to get on this ghost thing, but it will be interesting seeing where that goes with that.
Because I like that they've added something that's throwing everyone off their game.
And I feel like you have to, yeah.
It could be ghosts, so they didn't want to really say it.
Mm-hmm. Right. I think that's a good thing, because like you said, I think the show is at its best. I think there's two things the show is at its best with: when the show is grounded, even with the powers, even when they get fantastic with the powers, there's still a level of it being grounded, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I also think it's at its best when everybody's kind of off of their game.
Mm-hmm.
And when there's a new element in here and they all have to deal with it. And in a way, this season is, again, this has happened across the board with all the shows we're watching. Again, this is why they're all working so good. We're now kind of back where we started, if you think about it.
Very much.
We did it. It's amazing we're saying this. We said this was Flash. We said this was Arrow, and even though this is Marvel now, a completely different network, we're kind of back where we started with S.H.I.E.L.D., with Agent S.H.I.E.L.D. S.H.I.E.L.D. is now back out in the open. Daisy's not part of the team, and Coulson and May.
She's actually openly on the run from S.H.I.E.L.D. again.
She's openly on the run from S.H.I.E.L.D. again. May and Coulson are just agents. Top level agents, but just agents. Like, we've quietly done a reset also on Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. Damn it, Barry, your Flashpoint is now crossing over to the Marvel Universe.
He's very, very fast.
He's very, very fast. Yeah, but no, I think that's what's happening now, and like I said, it's going to be interesting seeing going forward how everything gets resolved and how everything comes together, if it doesn't get resolved. And I think that making S.H.I.E.L.D. go public now adds another layer of substance. Like I said, I think it was Fitz that says, I like working in the shadows, and Elena's like, well, at least you don't have to live in them anymore.
Right.
It's true. And if, you had Coulson telling director Jeffrey Mace what when Nick Fury told him, and it was basically like, hey, it's important to know when to throw your plan out, and you think this is one of those times. That's for you to decide, director. I also feel like if you're giving him Fury quotes, you should also give him the quotes about Fury always having backup plans and sometimes giving up power and still being in charge. Maybe, possibly. Because doesn't it feel like it kind of does feel like, even though he's given up power, Coulson still knows what's going on.
I think he's running it way more than even you and I have kind of speculated.
Right, because that's what Fury would do, right?
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what Fury does. And what's he do? What's he do this time? He gives whatever Jeffrey Mace is advice from Fury.
I mean, think about it. I mean, the idea, and again, this is you could say all you want. This is definitely why S.H.I.E.L.D. Went down in the first place, but you need to have S.H.I.E.L.D. needs to have a public face. It needs to do things. It needs to be out there in the open. But at the same time, in order for S.H.I.E.L.D. to do what S.H.I.E.L.D. does, it also needs an arm that does shit in the shadows.
So, they've got to be open enough.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And what's better than putting a front man, that everybody trusts out there to see. So, yeah. All right, before we end this, I want to talk about our lovely little, what's he, a state senator or politician? Whoever, I guess he's a senator whose brother apparently is in a human cocoon, and she's the one that's been feeding information to the watchdogs. Who do you think she might be talking to? Who? Because she's not the one in charge. You have any ideas of who might be in charge?
No. I think it's really interesting because then you start to deal with, because if you see, assuming she has access, because you're assuming, I don't know, is her brother just trapped in there?
Right. It's like, Inhumans don't sit in the cocoon forever. Like, what's going on with that? Shouldn't he be out by now? So
it's really interesting. I don't know what. Maybe he was inhuman enough to begin the change. I don't know. It's really strange, and it speaks to her motivations, but that last scene leaves you with way more questions than answers, which is the way S.H.I.E.L.D. likes to do it.
Right. I mean,
but knowing S.H.I.E.L.D., they'll answer next week in the first 10 minutes.
Right. We'll get the answer right away. Because again, okay, fine. She's feeding the registration list to somebody. But who's running it? Who has outfitted the watchdogs? Who has given them EMPs and all this ability to do all this stuff? Who is doing this? I mean, it's almost like this is a counter S.H.I.E.L.D. going on.
Right.
But at the same time, the people they run, they're not that smart. So I don't know. It's gonna be interesting seeing who's behind all this. And if it's like an LMD Ward, I'm gonna lose my fucking mind.
No, LMD Ward has to be good.
Oh, you're right.
He has to be good to screw with him the most.
You're right. I'm sorry. So yeah, it'll be interesting. And like you said, I have definitely, because when you look at what happened with the brother in the cocoon, she was in there checking his mail and stuff like that. So he'd been in there for a while.
Yeah. Too long.
Way too long. So she's like, I'll be back next week or be back tomorrow or something like that. Yeah. So questions, always questions with this show, but always good ones.
Great ones.
Yeah, man. Can't wait.
We're back in full swing.
Back in full swing. On Sunday, we'll be back with, we're doing, Sunday's a big day. We're doing Arrow. We're doing Legends of Tomorrow. So the Legends of Tomorrow and Arrow podcast, from moving forward, will probably be done together. We'd be one big show for you to download. What was I going to say? And we're doing Luke Cage, our Super Tuesday for a Luke Cage review. Finally getting into that. And then I'll be on the unanimous decision with Dpalm, Talk Sports.
I got to be honest before we get out of here. There was an Easter egg in this episode that I didn't want to bring up because I thought I'd be telling on myself. But, when they go in the diner in 1998, Dawson's Creek's on the television.
Yeah.
And for those of us who may or may not have watched it at a certain point, they know that the actor John Wesley Shipp played Dawson's dad.
Ah, that's what they did for...
It's fucking brilliant.
Oh, so that's your Flash Easter egg, but yes.
That's for all the 7 people who overlap Flash and Dawson's Creek fanhoods. There it is.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Is it too late for me to say my girl pointed it out?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't know if it was too late or not.
Yeah,
Thanks.
No, you can't. No, you're not saving yourself from this one.
I had to ask. Now I know it was too late.
Yeah. So, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. So, unanimous decision will have its own feed. Hopefully by this weekend. It's already submitted to iTunes, so you should be able to get to that. Yeah. Search for its own. Oh, and I made this announcement on the Flash podcast, but these Super Tuesdays and the character corners, and maybe even the unanimous decision if Dpalm wants me to do it, they'll all be on YouTube. So you'll be able to get them on YouTube. And kind of sometimes sites block. Sometimes you can't use your phone, and sometimes certain sites are blocked at your job, but sometimes almost everybody can get YouTube for some strange ass reason. But you'll be able to listen to us through YouTube. It's the weirdest shit in the world, dude. Like, I they won't let me use certain sites to stream music and things like that, but I can get YouTube. What the fuck?
Yo, I can't get ESPN's podcast to stream on my network at work. But I can get to YouTube and I can get to Facebook. I'm like, wait a second.
It doesn't make any goddamn sense.
I just want to hear this podcast from ESPN.
Yeah, it doesn't make any goddamn sense. So, search for a Super Tuesday recap on iTunes and Stitcher Radio. And leave us a 5-star review. We'll read it on air or send us an email and we'll talk about it. Guys, let me, I don't think I got any more emails. I know sometimes you guys send them to me and I forget. No, this is from last week. That was it. So we're good. So again, until next time, folks, we are out of here. Peace.